300 kilojoules of Cape on the 7th here in the Arizona deserts, including the Phoenix area. So there might be an isolated thunderstorm or two around here. But the monsoon, like I said, is slow to get started this year, but the on-time date is July 7th. I'm not sure we're going to see rains on the 7th, but here it is later on the 7th. The Cape in the afternoon really starts to increase here. Cape values approaching 500 to 700 kilojoules in the central deserts, and down towards the south in Tucson, we're looking at Cape values anywhere from 800 to 1200 kilojoules of Cape across the area. And then as we go a little bit further in time, we can see that on the 8th that the Cape continues to explode across the southwest. And we still have a very slight southwesterly flow here. It's not a strong one, but the Cape values are higher here at this point here in the Arizona desert. So it looks like that we could be seeing some more thunderstorms on the 8th across the area as well. And then the Cape kind of stays the same into the 9th and again into the 10th. The Cape values are there. Up to 1,000 kilojoules. It looks like we have a good monsoon flow going here at this point. So I'm thinking that the rains, I'm predicting the rains are going to arrive on the 9th around the Phoenix area. And there could be a severe thunderstorm outbreak. Depending on how high these Cape values get, we could be looking at severe thunderstorms moving in from the southeast on the 8th and 9th and approaching, causing big dust storms around the Phoenix area, causing all kinds of headaches on the I-10, and will be followed by hit and miss scattered showers and thunderstorms, some of which will produce heavy rainfall and hail across the area as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Looking at some other maps right now, we can currently see, we're going to check precipitation across the area, and when we're going to start seeing the precipitation, let's go out to 90 hours. We can currently see here that on the 28th, New Mexico, you're still getting some isolated activity. And then there's that possible severe weather outbreak here in the plains on the 28th. I said that Cape values were approaching 3,000 kilojoules over there. And as we can see here, that the models, as we take it into the future, into the 29th, the moisture kind of just stays in Mexico for a while as the high pressure sinks south for a time, about a week or two, or at least 7 to 10 days. And then here's a little interesting stuff. That's little stuff here on the 1st, just little tiny amounts of low-level moisture creeping in, probably not enough for thunderstorms yet. On the 2nd, that trend continues, a little tongue of moisture. On the 3rd, it kind of retreats back to the south again. It's not quite that time yet, but on the 4th of July, we'll have to watch for some scattered thunderstorms down around the Tucson area that could push a dust storm to the north into the Phoenix area. And dew points will also be climbing to the 50s and 60s at this point. But like I said, on the 4th, we could be looking at, or just prior to the 4th of July, we could be looking at a moderate Gulf surge, because there'll be a weak tropical system down here that might just jumpstart the monsoon into full gear here, or at least the ramp-up stage of the monsoon. And then as we head into the 5th, we can see that the moisture kind of just, it's there, but it's not thick yet. We like to see these darker greens and blues up into the Arizona area before we really know those rains are going to soak the area. But again, we can see there is a general flow here up on the Sierra Madres and in Sonora, Mexico, very active on the 7th and 8th. So the monsoon rains, I will not be surprised if they arrive as early as the 8th in the Phoenix area. That will not surprise me whatsoever. But I'm going with an arrival date of the 9th right now. Across the region. The 9th looks like the day that the thunderstorms could materialize in and over the Phoenix area, some of which could be strong to severe and produce strong gusty winds, blowing dust, small hail, heavy rain, and lightning across much of the area. So again, monsoon is starting to show up here, guys. We'll keep you guys posted. This is going to be a 2-part video. You're pretty much just almost done with part 1 here, but we're going to go and look at some other maps here called the CFS model. And basically what that's going to do is show you the long-term outlook as to what we're going to be expecting here for the duration of the monsoon season. And just to give you an idea, all right, so we like to look at the precipitation anomalies. And this helps us, first we're going to look at 700Z anomaly, which is the atmosphere, and it goes to show you what we got going on here. So this is for July. You can currently see a strong ridge of high pressure across the central and southern plains here, helping to produce a good amount of moisture coming into the southwest here. So it definitely looks like we could be looking at an active month for July, especially if you're in New Mexico. You could be looking at a wetter than average July for sure. across the area. Here's August. You can see much of the same, a strong ridge of high pressure. It looks like what we like to see, a blocking high pressure, one off the Southern California coast, another one over here in the Four Corners region will help to create a soupy air mass over the southwest with daily threats of showers, thunderstorms, with very little in as far as breaks is concerned. We just don't see many breaks during the monsoon season this year, but there will be some long ones. There will be 1 to 2 weeks. September, the ridge starts to go down to the southeastern area, down to the southeast, and it looks like that the moisture is still going to be pumping in here, especially in the central and eastern Arizona. Could be looking at excessive rainfall at times during the month of September as tropical systems start to go around this high and get dragged in through the ridge, helping to produce some very heavy rains over parts of New Mexico and southeast Arizona. Even parts of the Phoenix area could see some very heavy rains during the month of September. October, this is where the interesting, fun stuff begins to occur. Looks here like we're going to have a high pressure build out here in the North Pacific, off the Bering Sea or off the coast of Alaska, and we're going to have a slight dip in the jet here. So we're still going to be having warm, moist air coming up from down here in Mexico and competing with cold fronts that are going to be coming in, going down here like this, and there's even a potential for cut-off low-pressure systems to develop off the central and southern California coast, helping to pump warm, moist air in through the southwest here, and we could be definitely looking at some severe weather outbreaks during the month of October, some which will contain large hail and damaging winds across the area as well. Looking at the moisture profiles, we can currently see what we're going to look at for moisture, and this just gives us an idea of what the moisture is going to be like. So here's July. You can see a very strong heavy rains down through central and southern Mexico here along the spine of the Sierra Madre Mountains. Just a very weak signal of below average rainfall in parts of Sonora. But New Mexico, here you go. I mean, here's July, and you can see that from Albuquerque southward, it looks like above average rainfall for you guys for sure during the month of July, with normal rainfall over the Arizona and California deserts. Heading into August, we look like the rain, Albuquerque, you still look like above average rainfall for you guys during the month of August, with some slight signals of slightly above average rainfall in parts of southeast Arizona, and then again around the Flagstaff area, with the central areas picking up normal to slightly above normal rainfall. But we're going to have to watch for cold fronts that are going to come in from California that might interact with this and help to create some severe weather outbreaks. We're also going to have to start watching for tropical systems during that time of year. September. Looking pretty interesting. A little bit of dryness here, probably around the Southern California coastline, in around San Diego, and along the spine of the Gulf of California. That is probably not going to be really that big of a deal, but the high pressure is going to be here in East Texas, and it's still going to be pumping some moisture in through New Mexico. New Mexico, you look like you're going to get a good monsoon season this year for sure. We have to be watching for severe other weather outbreaks and tropical systems during this time in through pretty much Phoenix eastward, all the way into parts of West Texas right now. And we could be looking at several severe weather outbreaks with these cold fronts coming in, which will come in mostly dry over California, but will interact with lingering monsoon moisture here in the central and northern Mexico, pump that into the deserts and help to produce some severe weather outbreaks. Again, large hail, damaging winds, heavy rain, dangerous lightning, and possibility of isolated tornadoes, especially from Tucson eastward in through the New Mexico plains. Could also see some tornadic activity during the mid to latter part of stages of September. October, it looks like this is where we have some, like I said, lingering moisture here in Mexico, lingering monsoon moisture and tropical moisture even off the coast of southwestern California will be pumped northward into this area here and helped to draw moisture all the way into the northern plains. Okay, so we have a high pressure that's going to bring dry conditions, and that's what we call where the storm systems could come down like this out of Canada, dip down off the coast, create cut-off low-pressure systems, and help to pump monsoon moisture in through much of New Mexico and parts of Arizona here and Utah. We could be looking at severe weather outbreaks across the area, some with tornadic development, especially for the eastern plains of New Mexico. But we could also be looking at possible severe thunderstorms with large hail damaging winds, similar to the event that took place October 5th, 2010, and then October 6, 2010, with Belmont reporting 9 tornadoes that hit the ground that day, that touched down across the area and did some rather significant damage across the area. So another one of those years could be unfolding here during October. Late September and October across the Southwest. So we'll keep you guys posted. Looks like the monsoon moisture will linger a little bit this year. We'll keep you guys posted, and have another video update for you guys soon as the monsoon gets even closer to the area. But overall, it looks like a normal to slightly above normal monsoon in terms of rainfall, especially for New Mexico and West Texas. Looks like you guys are in for a decent monsoon season, with daily rounds of showers and thunderstorms across the area. And again, a wetter than average monsoon expected by mid to late September in Arizona and into October, as well as the extended season. And again, we're going to have to really watch those months of late September and October. Even into very early November, we'll be looking at possibility of severe weather outbreaks across the Southwest, some of which will produce tornadoes across the area. They're not going to be long track tornadoes, most likely, and they're not going to be all over the place, but New Mexico